Great weather, cold beer, calling in sick to work, just a few carb-day traditions.
Now, if you've actually seen the show, you know that series host and creator Rich Christensen
faced a challenge coming into this year, learning a new position.
Used for several key scenes in the movie. Some of this furniture in the lobby was brought by the production company, remains here today.
While the USFL boasted a lot of colorful helmets and bright stars,
West Lafayette, your champs in Class 3A, a 2-year record of 26-1. Not bad.
Thanks for joining us, and best of luck the rest of the season.
Dynasty. The Heritage Christian girls basketball team has defined the term over the past few seasons. 7 straight sectional titles, 4 straight Class 2A state titles. But this year's final step to the championship was anything but a formality.
To be able to get 4 is, I can't even explain how it feels, because we were extremely motivated coming into the game, and we didn't start out well, and so we knew we had to pick it up.
It was a difficult game. I give all the credit to Oak Hill. I thought they played a fantastic game. They kind of kept us off base, and the foul trouble kept us from doing some of the things that we wanted to do. But they played extremely well, so it was just a real good Indiana basketball game.
Fouls kept Miss Basketball candidate Kelly Ferris on the bench, and the Eagles trailing for most of the contest.
Well, I think it had different girls that stepped up. I mean, Emily hit a couple outside shots, and we have a great team, a great group of girls, and we were able to make up for it.
HC battled back to force OT, and then it was senior playmaker Claire Freeman's turn to play heroin.
Well, it definitely wasn't the play. We were trying to run, but I got the ball and I was just trying to get to the basket. It was a little off balance, but I was just trying to get the shot off in the last couple seconds, and I hit it, I guess.
Chances are you had them as a kid, or you played with ones that belonged to your friends. Now, I don't know what you're thinking of, but I'm talking about die-cast cars, and they're not just child's play anymore.
I collect all Tony Stewart and some Denny Hamlin.
I've got to have the newer paint schemes, and I get at least the 124 scale of a lot of different drivers.
That's right, die-cast cars. The little cars have become a very big business.
Die-cast as a whole is probably nearly $1 billion industry.
Locally based Greenlight Collectibles produces cars for the Indy Racing League, and they serve a mainly adult clientele.
Most of the people that buy our product is actually older collectors, guys anywhere from the ages of 40 to 70.
Well, we have to buy them all the time because all the drivers seem to change rides every year, it seems like.
Oh yeah, there's still pieces I'm looking for after all these years that I'm still trying to find, to complete different sets.
And the drivers of the real things on the track are getting into the act as well.
I actually have every car that they've ever made, and we have a small display case in the office that we display all the cars in, so die-casts are a big part of our sport.
At the track, Wes Woodward, Fox 59 Sports.
Doesn't feel these are tight enough.
It is incredible. When John Clack comes out here bringing his Air Guard Extra, it is just a ride of a lifetime. As John tells me, you see the ground in the air, then the ground in the air, then the ground in the air, and I just keep focusing on stare at one wing so that I don't get motion sick as bad.
From the dirt track to the airport in a 24-hour period, you've had quite an experience.
I'm looking out. I can see him just about ready to come off the ground, so we'll come off the ground.
Above 4,000 feet, Jill, right over 40. It's the next 4-lane road just south of I-70.
Okay, Wes, we're going to kind of go over here, and we're going to get away from these houses down here because I can't do aerobatics around the houses.
Probably given 500 or 600 rides in the last, like we talked about, 5 years.
That's fun.
You rank up there in the top 5, let me just say that, as far as amount of abuse that I could, put out on you, and you kept asking for more.
Doing okay?
I'm doing fine.
Okay, cool.
Just sitting back and enjoying this.
All right. There's our smoke trail.
Last run.
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
What do you think of this ride? Crazy?
Love it.
Love it.
How was it flying it?
I love it.
Is it worse flying or riding for you?
It's 100% worse riding.
Yeah, riding's fine for me, but I couldn't imagine being in control of what we're doing right now.
Well, I mean, if you knew what you were doing, you'd get a kick out of it.
I mean, we do live television. That scares some people to death,
So when people learn about the Guard, it sells itself. You know, this program is about branding, it's about awareness, it's about getting out in the public, grassroots, and it's about the young generation, the future of aviation and the future Guardsmen. So for me to be able to fly in the air show and represent the Guard is awesome.
Many moons ago, in the spring of 1983, the United States Football League hit the field. Armed with a lucrative TV deal, the USFL challenged the established NFL by signing future stars like Herschel Walker, Steve Young, and Reggie White. Great play was marred by bad weather at times. Just check out the home opener in Chicago.
While the USFL boasted a lot of colorful helmets and bright stars, it also had a few Hoosier connections.
Colts president Bill Polian helped run the Blitz.
I started out as the player personnel director, and then our owner walked away from the team, and I ended up being the de facto general manager. Marv Levy was the head coach.
And speaking of Colts, Lindy Infante and Jim Mora both were head coaches in the league, with Mora winning 2 championships. Former IU coach Lee Corso coached the Orlando Renegades. His quarterback's coach, current IU head coach Bill Lynch.
It was the first time that I remember, where TV dictated when the games were played, because we'd play on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. You never knew, and sometimes you'd have 6 days to prepare for a game, sometimes 3 days, something, so from a coaching standpoint, it was a great experience.
Also on that staff, Mount Vernon High School head coach Doug Peacock.
My whole purpose of going there was actually to go get a college job. And I was going to work there and then work that into a college job. And of course, we had guys come in that were from college, the Bill Lynches, Steve Mariucci was on that staff. To learn that side of it and football as a business, it really wasn't me. I was more into let's teach kids how to live.
Expansion brought the San Antonio Gunslingers, whose beat writer, Jim Lefkoe, is now the Indianapolis Star sports editor.
The stories that came out of that league were legendary. A couple that I remember most, Rick Neuheisel was the quarterback of the San Antonio Gunslingers, the only person you'll ever have heard of that played for that team. And being an industrious young reporter, I wanted to find out how much money he made. So I got a copy of the entire salary of everybody that played on the team, and he was the highest paid at maybe $50,000. They had trouble making payroll. So the Gunslingers front office was a trailer that they parked outside of Alamo Stadium. And one day, when it was payday, and they'd missed maybe a couple weeks, there were players knocking on the front door of their trailer to get money, and we saw a couple of the club executives climbing out the back window to get away from them. So, it was that kind of thing that would happen every week.
After 3 seasons, the USFL decided to move to the fall, going head-to-head with the NFL. They also filed an antitrust lawsuit against the league.
Ironically, the USFL won the lawsuit, largely on the testimony of Howard Cosell, I think, but was awarded $3 in damages. So in effect, they lost. They won the verdict, but lost the war, so to speak.
So 25 years later, we can thank the USFL for launching the careers of some great players, furthering the careers of others here in Indiana, and introducing instant replay. And who knows, maybe Referees in Shorts is next. On the USFL beat, Wes Woodward, IndySportsNation.com.